Final thing to do for today's show, folks, is walk through our predicted playoff scenarios. Earlier this week, we finished out the last 2 weeks of the season predicting all the winners here, and we have our final playoff positioning according to us. Now, we will redo this after week 17. Everything that we've got wrong, which I don't think we got anything wrong. This is how quickly, we'll recap this quickly, how we think week 17 plays out. Here we go. Chiefs over Bengals, Colts over Raiders, Patriots over Jags, Dolphins over Titans, Chargers over Broncos, Browns over Steelers, Bills over Falcons, Rams over Ravens, Bucks over Jets, 49ers over Texans, Bears over Giants, Eagles over Washington, Saints over Carolina, Seahawks over Lions, Dallas over Cardinals, and Packers over Vikings. That's how we see week 17 playing out. Now, if anything goes crazy, week 17, that we got anything wrong, we'll re-walk through week 18, re-see how the playoffs set, re-walk through the matchups and all that, and get our overall Super Bowl winner heading into week 18. But let's focus on heading into week 17, shall we? So, with all the remaining 2 weeks of the season predicted, this is how the seeding of the playoffs are, and what the overall matchups are. So, we get the Bengals. We get the Colts at the Bengals, the Dolphins at the Bills, and the Patriots at the Titans in the AFC, with the Chiefs being the number 1 seed. And then in the NFC, we get the Cardinals at the Bucks, the Eagles at the Rams, and the Saints at the Cowboys, with the Packers being the number 1 seed in the NFC. So let's talk through these matchups right here, and then we'll walk through the entire playoff season and declare a Super Bowl winner right now. So here we go. Let's start in the AFC. First matchup up is the Colts at the Bengals, and this should be a great matchup overall here. Colts, if they run the ball here, they're going to be one of the most unstoppable teams in the AFC. That defense is elite, and that running game is elite as well. Carson Wentz, we don't want that man throwing more than really 20 times in a game. Where this Bengals team, they do have home field advantage for winning the division, so congratulations to the Bengals here. But overall, it's this Bengals team not being the consistent that we need. This Colts team has been so consistent. What do we got? The last 3-4 weeks of just running the ball, pounding the ball. We love what we're getting with Frank Reich, and I believe if they run the ball against this Bengals team, they will be able to control the clock, control the game on the road, and running with Jonathan Taylor 29, 30 plus times a game can result you into 30 plus points, which, is fantastic scoring. So I'm going to take the Colts over the Bengals. All right, then we get the Dolphins at the Bills, and this is the worst scenario for this Dolphins team. They don't have the Bills number. Going all the way back to last season, regular season, can't get it done. First meeting. Second meeting, where they need to win to get into the playoffs, and they looked the worst I've ever seen this Dolphins team ever. And I've seen this team with Joe Philbin as the head coach. I've seen this team with Adam Gase as a head coach, but what they did last week of the season to try and get into the playoffs against the Bills, I try to erase that from my memory because it was the worst thing I've ever seen. And then flash forward to this season, already blown out twice, non-competitive and all that. So worst case scenario for the Dolphins. I want to root for the Dolphins and I want to pick the Dolphins here, but everything I've seen over the last 2 weeks, this Dolphins offense cannot get it done against the Bills. The Dolphins defense decently has some nice, drive stops here and there, but overall, for the most part, you need to put up points, and this Dolphins team cannot against the Bills. So great scenario for the Bills. Worst case scenario for the Dolphins. We choose the Bills. All right, and then we get the Patriots at the Titans. Man, oh man, Titans. Hope maybe Derrick Henry. Can Derrick Henry be back for the wild card game? I hope, gosh dang so, folks. Man, oh man, I miss watching that man. I stare at Derrick Henry an hour every morning before the show, just so I can feel good about it. I can feel good about going along throughout my day, knowing that I witnessed Derrick Henry. So Patriots defense is very, very good. In this Colts offense, folks, this Titans offense is just not it. Tannehill cannot get it done himself. We know this. We see this on a weekly basis here. Watch for it this week against the Dolphins. Ryan Tannehill, they have history together. Big meaning game in playoffs and all that. And Ryan Tannehill, I think, is going to get shellacked in this game. He cannot get it done himself. The two running back by committee that the Titans have to replace the King Henry, it looks good, but it doesn't give that kind of impact of smash mouth football that Derrick Henry provides for the Titans. Patriots offense going against a little bit of a mediocre, it's a solid Titans defense, so Mac Jones should be able to have some decent success here. And I'm going to choose the Patriots. Bill Belichick gets it done on the road. Alrighty, so the three winners in the AFC of Wildcard Weekend are Colts, Bills, and the Patriots. Now let's shift gears to the NFC. First matchup up is the Cardinals at the Bucs, and this is a really not great matchup here for this Cardinals team. They've been sliding, skidding, and we have a really bad taste in our mouth of what this Cardinals team is overall. And now they're having to face the Bucs, defending Super Bowl champions at home. I just think it's a little bit tough for this Cardinals team to win it. A little inexperienced in the playoffs and all that, where you've got Tom Brady and company who have just done it. Tom Brady has done it every single year for his entire career. So bad matchup here for the Cardinals. They must not be the worst seed in the NFC playoffs here. So they must get it done over these next 2 weeks. But we will predict this Bucs team does win. Alrighty. Well, the Cardinals would be the 5th seed, but either way, I mean, you just got to be better than that, man. You got to be better than the 5th seed, and it's going to be tough because you got to win the division, and it's probably not happening. So this is not looking great for the Cardinals overall. I guess we can say that. All right, next matchup up here is the Eagles and the Rams, and I love this Eagles team, don't get me wrong, and we said this Eagles team is Super Bowl contenders, but the Rams are the wrong team to go against. The Eagles really need to face the Bucs. I think that's a better matchup. Obviously, the Saints is the easiest matchup. Cowboys could be an interesting matchup, but you definitely don't want to face the Rams right off the rip here in LA. This Eagles defense may be able to contend a little bit, but I don't know about this Eagles offense over this Rams defense. I know this Eagles offense is good. They've got the running game. It's a well-balanced running and passing game, but overall this Rams defense has been getting it done, solidifying itself over the last 4 weeks. The offense of Matthew Stafford and Sony Michel and Sean McVay being perfectly educated on what wins and what makes this offense tick, keeping the running game going. I love the Eagles, but I think it's the Rams with the win. And then the last wild card game here, we get the Saints at the Cowboys, and this one's just too easy. It's Cowboys. It's the Cowboys, absolutely. Cowboys at home. Cowboys defense obliterates the Saints offense, and the Cowboys only have to put up 1 point the entire game to win. I think they'll be able to do that. Cowboys get the easy win against the Saints. All right, so wild card round has been predicted. We go to the division round. 2 games on each side, AFC, NFC. First game up here in the NFC, we get the Colts at the Bills. Now this, I want to see this matchup at some point in the playoffs, whether first round, second round, last round, whatever it is. I want to see what this Colts and Bills team can do against each other. This was the wild card game from last season. Phillip Rivers, down 1 possession, ball in his hands, can't get it done. Now, can Carson Wentz get it done? I don't know. Ball in his hands, down 1 possession, last drive of the game. Can Carson Wentz sling the ball to win? I don't know, but I think the running game by the Colts and the defense by the Colts is the only thing that needs to be kind of said here. With this Colts team, we are imagining that they're just going to be a power running football, relying on their defense, and that's really what's going to win the Super Bowl, what's going to win in the playoffs. A great defense in controlling the clock, and the Bills cannot control the clock with their lack of running game. Now, Josh Allen can get it done. We just saw it last week. He slung the ball fantastically against the Patriots defense, but now he has to do it here against this Colts defense. He's going to have to do it with the game on the line, and we know this Bills team offensively gets ultra conservative in the playoffs. So I think it's just a really bad matchup here for the Bills, and I'm going to go the Colts beating the Bills, getting it done and advancing to the AFC Championship game. Then we get the Patriots at the Chiefs. Patriots defense, solid, really good, but this Chiefs defense is as good, if not better. And they only have to guard Mac Jones, where the Patriots defense has to guard Patrick Mahomes and at home. So I'm going to take the Chiefs with the win here. Patriots competitive, a great game overall. It's Bill Belichick with Andy Reid. I mean, they have history with each other, with Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes going against each other when Tom Brady was still in the AFC. But I'm going to give it here to the Chiefs. Their defense has been absolutely fantastic. This is a new Chiefs team over kind of the last 5-6 weeks with their defense getting it truly together. And Mac Jones, he wins one playoff game, which is great for a rookie, but I don't know if he's ready to start winning division rounds of playoffs. We take the Chiefs with the win. And then in the NFC, man, oh my goodness. And if this is division weekend in the NFC, this is must-watch television. These could potentially be the highest rated NFL games by viewership in history, overpowering Super Bowls, overpowering the Colts and Patriots facing earlier, last season, this season? They're all blending together. But whenever Tom Brady of the Bucs faced Bill Belichick of the Patriots, I mean, these games right here, Rams at Cowboys, Bucs at Packers, man, oh man. Let's start talking about them. Here we go. We get Rams at the Cowboys, and wow. Rams having to go on the road. Cowboys being at home is the best thing about this Cowboys game right here. We know the Cowboys defense is great. We know the Rams defense is great. I would say the Cowboys defense is better than the Rams defense overall. But we can rely on this Rams offense more consistently, I believe, than we can the Cowboys offense. Now, there is going to be a narrative that comes into play this offseason, and it's going to be a little interesting to see how it plays out. Matthew Stafford never being in a high pressure-filled wild card game where they're expected to not only win, but to get to the Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford does not have that in him. He's never experienced that. And, we talk about, experience. A lot of, the national media talks about experience as you get into the playoffs and how you need experience. That's why nobody's giving the Cardinals any credit this season, because they don't have the playoff experience. I don't buy as heavy into, what y'all say about that. I do believe that experience is a little needed. I don't think it's as much as the players say, which maybe I shouldn't be saying that. But, I just don't think it's as important as everybody makes it out to be. But Rams here, Matthew Stafford's going to have to get it done. This Cowboys offense, it's been a little struggling still. And I think, just talking regular season so far, that Matthew Stafford's offense has been a little bit more consistent than Dak Prescott's offense overall. And I think that's what it's really going to come down to. This could be one of the greatest games to watch of the season, and I really hope this comes to fruition. But I am going to take the Rams over the Cowboys. And then we get the Bucs at the Packers, a basic replay of what we just saw last season. Tom Brady throws 3 interceptions and still wins the game. I cannot assume Aaron Rodgers gets it done. I'm still seeing the same Aaron Rodgers that I've seen my entire life, which is fantastic. But, they're not blowing out teams this season. They're winning by, scrappy and all that. And, facing Tom Brady, he's going to get it done like we just saw last season. Matt LaFleur, high pressure in the playoffs, knowing he has to call it exactly right, or Aaron Rodgers will use that, wrong play calling of the decision, whether it's not going for it on 4th down and kicking the field goal, or going for it on 4th down when Aaron Rodgers didn't want to, or whatever the case is. Anything could really move Aaron Rodgers off of not being a Green Bay Packer next year. The only thing that makes Aaron Rodgers consider being a Green Bay Packer next year is winning the Super Bowl. So I think they're going to be coaching on eggshells. I think Aaron Rodgers still lets the pressure of the playoffs get to him at the end, and I'm going to choose the Bucs beating the Packers. All right, that brings us to the championship round. Colts, Chiefs in the AFC, Bucs, Rams in the NFC. We get Colts and Chiefs in the NFC. In the AFC. Let's start with that first. We get the Colts. Once again, great defense. Running game is there. Chiefs, great defense. Offense all over the place is there. Colts having to go on the road. Carson Wentz, is he even healthy at this point? We've never seen Carson Wentz this far in the playoffs. The farthest that we've seen Carson Wentz play in the playoffs is like the first quarter of the wild card round, and then he gets injured, and then that's it for Carson Wentz's playoff career. So I think that's going to play an effect here where we get Chiefs at home in the AFC Championship game. I mean, that's where they are every single year. So they've got the experience that we just talked about. And I think that's going to be kind of the main difference. I think maybe Frank Reich, we'll see how disciplined he is. Once again, this Colts team really is going to be taken as far as Frank Reich's discipline. How long can he keep up running the ball 30 plus times a game while keeping Carson Wentz to 25 throws and under? We know Frank Reich and Carson Wentz have big old history. I believe Frank Reich wants to give Carson Wentz the credit like Pete Carroll wanted to give Russell Wilson the credit in that second Super Bowl they went to. That's why they threw the ball on the 1 yard line on second down and didn't run the ball with Marshawn Lynch from the 1 yard line because Pete Carroll wanted Russell Wilson to get all the attention, all the credit for the win, be highly regarded as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and didn't want to give all that praise to Marshawn Lynch, who was a little, the NFL didn't really love. He had a lot of antics, grabbing his crotch in the end zone, comparing Russell Wilson to Marshawn Lynch, which player do you think the NFL would like to kind of have as their face of the league, during, 2014? Russell Wilson, who's, obviously, clean as heck, a great guy overall, or Marshawn Lynch, who's great. I'm not knocking Marshawn Lynch. I love Marshawn Lynch, but, grabbing the crotch in the end zone, little I'm here so I don't get fined and all that. I don't think the NFL loved those things as much as everybody else did. So I'm going to take the Chiefs here in the AFC Championship game. And now we get the Bucs at the Rams here, and the Rams are at home. Getting a home playoff game here in the NFC Championship game. That's exactly where the Rams truly want to be. We get the Rams defense very, very good. We know Sean McVay offensively is fantastic. I'm sure he's going to keep the running game here. And it's Tom Brady going on the road again. What happens if he throws 3 interceptions this time against the Rams defense? I think Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford can make them pay. So I'm going to take the Rams here, and Matthew Stafford finally gets to a Super Bowl the first time he is on a good team. And that brings us to the Super Bowl matchup. Rams at the Chiefs, folks. And what wins championships, what wins Super Bowls? Defense. And both of these teams have really, really good defenses. And I think maybe the experience kind of issue plays a big factor here. Matthew Stafford finally getting to a Super Bowl where Patrick Mahomes is like, oh, you finally got here. I've been here. I've been waiting for you, Matt Stafford. I've been waiting to beat you in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes here the last 2 seasons where Matthew Stafford's never even dreamed about being in the Super Bowl because his team was never even close to being good enough to start dreaming about getting to the big game. Does Andy Reid lose back-to-back Super Bowls? Probably not, because his son is not going to be able to kill another innocent person while drunk driving. So they're not going to have to, have that over the entirety of the Chiefs organization. Should be a great Super Bowl, but I'm going to give it to the Chiefs here. With the experience and all that. Rams, this should be a great, I would truly love to watch the Super Bowl. Rams, Colts, Rams, Chiefs. I want to see Matthew Stafford in the Super Bowl to truly see what he can do. But I'm going to say the Chiefs win it here. Chiefs win the Super Bowl over the Rams. This Chiefs defense is the real deal, folks. You got to start talking about them a little bit more respectful over the last couple of weeks. And once again, it's Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid back at the Super Bowl. I don't think they will lose 2 in a row. So, Rams, Chiefs, Super Bowl, Chiefs get the win. So, that's how we see the last 2 weeks playing out, how the rest of the season plays out here in the playoffs. We'll see what happens in week 17 that jumbles up the playoff order, the playoff seeding. Maybe the Chiefs don't get to the Super Bowl if they run into a different team during, their run. Maybe they run into the Bills. Maybe the Colts, face somebody easier, something like that, and it changes the outcome. So we'll keep track of, what happens week 17, obviously, and we'll re-walk through week 18 later next week.